Hello, my name is Dr. Mary Levine, and I'm a professor at Youngstown State University in Health and Physical Education Teacher Preparation. So I've been asked, and it's been a great honor to be asked to do this and present to you today about a role model and someone who truly inspired me in my life in many, many, many ways. And her name was Babe Didrikson Zaharias. I don't know if you can see this, but this right here is a women's sport magazine, which I had when I was in 8th grade, middle school, just like yourselves. And it was a whole article all about her. And that was the first time that I was introduced to Babe Didrikson Zaharias. And 13 years old, I just was like, wow, I want to be just like her. Because, well, for women, girls like myself at 13 in sport, we didn't have any females to really follow. So when I read about her and her life, it was so fascinating to me. And yet it was just something that just lit a candle inside my head that said, you got to do this. You got to read all about her. You got to know more. And that's exactly what I did. Throughout my life, I've always kind of held a little bit of, what would the babe do? What would she tell me to do now? All right. So for you, as young males and females, you're going to get a chance to read her book, and please do. I think you'll find that even though her life was in the 30s, she did not have a very long life, but I think she had so much impact on our world today that there's so much you can take away and apply it to today. So first, what does she mean to me? Well, Babe to me was a leader. Babe was an inspiration. She was a role model. She wasn't a wealthy person, and I didn't grow up wealthy either. You know, she was just a down-home, just a very down-to-earth individual who aspired to be more. All right? She was just a small-town girl from a very small town outside of Dallas by an hour and a half who really wanted to do more, and she wanted to be more. For her growing up, and you'll get to read this, but for her growing up, you know, she aspired to be the best at everything. You know, you said, hey, I bet you can't run to that corner, and she'd run to that corner and beat everybody. All right, that's what she was about. I took a few notes here, and a couple of things that I wanted to say was, you know, back in the 30s, we didn't have women's professional sport. Yeah, there was the women's, well, if you want to call it professional golf, but it really wasn't. It was really amateur golf. We had amateur track and field that males and females participated in. But it really was her that broke through that sporting culture. She broke in as a female that wasn't made of glass, wasn't made of china. We weren't going to break. She fell down. She got right back up. She dusted herself off, and she lit the world on fire. When somebody told Babe, I don't know, you know, that runner over there, she's about 4 seconds faster than you. She said, yeah, just watch me. I'm going to beat her by 5 seconds. And she was that kind of person that just pushed herself with that determination. It's another positive about her. She was very determined. She had a lot of passion to whatever she tried, she did. She started out playing basketball, and she was, you know, great in basketball. But, you know, she wanted more. So, you know, someone introduced her to track and field, and she started running track and field. And she excelled in running. She excelled in high jump. She excelled in the javelin throw. Well, when I was in 8th grade, in 7th grade, and 8th grade, I run out for the track team because I'm like, I'm going to be like Babe. And I was a runner, a sprinter, and I long jumped, and then I also high jumped. No, I did not throw the javelin. That was not me. But for me, I wanted to be in first place. And I would have to say that throughout my sporting career, because then when I got to high school, I played volleyball, I played basketball, I played softball, I played tennis. I couldn't play track anymore, but I played tennis. And then when I went on to college, I pursued, in getting my degree, I pursued volleyball, basketball, softball, and tennis again. And I was very fortunate to be able to excel in all of those sports. And then while I was in college, I was invited to Colorado Springs to try out for the women's team handball, the national team in team handball. And we were, putting together a new team, and we were going to go to the 1980 Olympics. Well, we boycotted the Olympics in 1980, and I needed to graduate college, and I needed to start my teaching career. And so I left the team. It was my own choice, but at the same time, I just thought, I want to be the one that can somehow inspire other boys and girls, males and females, to pursue their dreams, be it athletic or not. And so when I look back and I think of, wow, I just kept telling myself, I'm going to be like the Babe. I'm going to break this record. I'm going to be here. She was in the 1936 Olympics in Los Angeles, California. Well, the part that really got me was I'm a native of Chicago, Illinois, and she actually qualified for the 1936 Olympics in my hometown. So, of course, when I'm reading about her, I'm like, well, she was here. This is me. I'm going to do this. So throughout my life, and even as I became a teacher, and I taught at the junior high level, and I taught at the high school level, and then here I am at the college level, I also coached at the junior high and the high school and college. For me, it was always about what could I give others so that they would continue to pursue their dreams, because that's how I saw her. That was an inspiration she gave to me. She was someone who, when people thought of women's golf, they thought, oh, they just go out and they have a skirt and they just, putt. And here she comes on the scene and she tees the ball up, and she hits that ball farther than anybody has ever seen a woman hit a golf ball, which was back in the 30s, 200 to 250 yards. That's a pretty good drive for a female athlete. If you've ever seen clubs from the 1930s, they were about so big, and you just had to hit it. I mean, you could see on my club here, this is my driver. You can see it's quite a bit bigger than what her driver would have been. So like if I drive my ball 200, 210, I feel pretty good about it. But there she was, showing the world that women can play this game, and we can play it really good. And it was very quickly, once she was started her golf career, that they elevated her to the women's professional golf. And that's really kind of where it really started, and it got really serious, because then they started looking for other women who could play. And now today, the LPGA is just as big as the PGA. So we can see how over time she really opened these doors. She broke through that sporting barrier. In the 30s, sport was a man's world. Men played football, men played basketball, men played hockey, men played baseball, and they played golf. What did women do? Well, you can run track if you'd like, but it's amateur. Or you can play golf, but it's only semi-professional, until Babe got on. So she broke that glass ceiling for us. As a female, she broke the glass ceiling of, look at what a woman can do. Look at what a woman can earn. And I can hold my own. I can fall down, I can take my bumps and my bruises, I can wipe myself off and get right back up and do it again. And I'm not going to run in some corner, and I'm not going to cry. It's not about, oh, I'm the worst that could be. No, I'm going to get better. And so she really was that kind of person. That's what she did. Oh, that's that determination. That's that compassion for her sport and that passion that she had. She was a very humble person. All right, she grew up in a small town. She wasn't wealthy. When she passed away, she was wealthy, but she never really let her wealth dictate who she was inside. Her and her husband set up many charity events where they raised money to introduce sport to children, where they raised money just for the benefits of whatever the cause happened to be. Feeding the hungry, helping the poor, helping children. So for her, it was about giving back. So she was a very humble person. She was a big leader. You know, when people would say, well, let's see what Babe's going to do. And then Babe would go out there and, you know, she'd win the tournament. And then they're like, all right, let's go. So as I read about her, the more and more I read about her, that has always stayed with me all of my life. I had a 4th grade teacher told me I wouldn't graduate college, and you know, don't be telling me I can't do something. So you know, there's the Babe inside me somewhere. I think I carry her around right here in my heart, because I not only graduated college, but I did my master's degree. I graduated, and I graduated with a Ph.D., and that's why they call me Dr. Levine. But again, I wasn't going to stop because someone told me I couldn't do it. And I think that's what she was all about. If you said that Susie is going to beat you in that race to Babe, and going to beat you by 4 seconds, she would look at you and say, and I'm going to beat her by 5 seconds. And wouldn't she go out and do that? She studied her sport. So she would watch. Okay, wow. And again, this is all before we have technology. Now we can video ourselves, we can play back, watch film, as they call it. But you're really watching yourself over and over, and you're practicing. Well, you know, they didn't really have that. So what she did is she took a lot of notes, and then she would go back and she'd try again. And she spent hours. That's that determination. That's that motivation to want to be not just good. Oh, good wasn't good enough for her. You know, she was a woman who ended up with 346 first place medals. Who does that? Okay, the Babe. All right, so when I think of everything that she accomplished in her very short lifespan, I've always felt very inspired by her. I've always felt of her as a role model, and I've never let anybody tell me I couldn't do something. The only person who's going to tell me I can't do something is myself. So I think that's how she lived her life. Don't tell me I can't do this. You know, so she would even get up to the tee box and she'd say, okay, someone would say, I bet I can drive the ball farther than you. And she goes, go ahead and try, but I'm going to beat you. And didn't she beat them? You know, so she always had that positive thought. You know, she never entered in, oh, well, I don't know. It is kind of windy out here. Maybe I can't drive the ball. No, that was not her. She was very, very, very determined. And so that really carried her into her successes in life. Like I said, she and her husband set up charity funds. They gave back. Other things, I made a little note on stuff, so I really didn't want to forget to tell you anything about all the accomplishments that she had. I know for myself, you know, one of the things that has always stuck with me is how she never shied away from a challenge. She took the challenge head on. If she didn't win, okay, I didn't win today, but I'm going to come back tomorrow and I am going to win. So it was all about the next event, the next championship, the next track meet. And so when you think of what life brings to you today, and when you read her book, and please do read her book because she's quite a phenomenal woman, it still applies today. A lot of things that she was in her short lifetime, it still applies to today. She didn't let the naysayers tell her she couldn't do something. She went out there and did it. And she made them be quiet. She was someone who had a dream, and she reached for that dream. And once she got to that dream, she reached for another dream. And then in that dream, she reached for another dream. So the things that I've always held from what she has inspired me has been to pursue my dreams, and when I get to my dream, go and pursue another one, and when I get to that, go pursue another one. Hence, which has really helped me out throughout my life, and I hope that I, as a teacher and as a college professor, as a coach, that I've been able to impart that on my students or my athletes. And when I was a teacher in middle school and high school, whether you wanted to be an athlete or you didn't want to be an athlete, and you just wanted to learn a skill, and then you wanted to go out and enjoy that particular skill and that particular game or activity, I would always find a way to help you get there. And to me, that's what Babe was about. How can I help someone get to their dream or their goal? And so for that, I always think Babe sits in my heart. And there are times when I think, what would Babe do right about now? Oh, she'd get up and she'd get, come on, let's go. You know, we're going to get ourselves up, we're going to dust ourselves off, and we're going to go get them. And so when I think of Babe, I think of that motivation, that drive. And so that even holds true today, whether you pursue a sport or you don't pursue a sport. You have to have some passion that just makes you want to excel. And there's nothing wrong, and I know, adults do this all the time. They give you advice. Well, the advice that you learn from your mistakes, of course, whenever I would hear that from a coach, my mom, my dad, a teacher, I'd be like, yeah, right. Forget that. I'm going to prove that wrong. Well, I couldn't. All right, because it was really true. I did learn the most from my mistakes. And I think that has always helped me pursue the next thing that I want to pursue in life. So, well, once I've stopped playing softball and basketball and volleyball, and I stopped playing tennis, I took up golf. And so here I am. I got my golf clubs, and I know we're in the quarantine, but even in the quarantine, I'm already here. I can't wait to get out and just crush them. Because when I get up to the golf ball, here comes the Babe. She comes in and out. But here's the Babe telling me, just hit that ball as hard as you can, girl. And so for myself, it has helped me pursue all of my dreams and all of my goals, and I've never stopped. I don't even think I can cut the grass without making some kind of a contest out of it. So in closing, what I would like to tell you is, again, read that book. I think you'll find it very entertaining. I know they'll probably have some jokes because she used to like to poke fun at some of her gentleman friends. And I say that lovingly because she'd look at them and kind of say, oh yeah, smarty, watch this. So, she was one of those kind of gals that didn't take anything from anybody, male or female. She treated everybody the same. So what I would want to tell you is find your dream. Pursue that dream. Live your life with determination. Live your life with that passion to be the best you can be. And you're going to be great. And also remember to be humble and be kind. Because nobody likes nasty people. All right? And when I think of some of the sporting people that we have in sport today that maybe some of you have heard about or can relate to, could be people like Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Dak Prescott or whoever your person that you admire, Venus or Serena Williams, Megan Rapinoe. Okay, so we've got male and female athletes that we can look up to in life. I think back to other teachers that I've had and the inspiration I draw from them. So you go be the best you that you can be. And when you get done reading all about the Babe, I think you'll find that determination, that drive, and that inner motivation just to keep going and don't stop. Take as many people as you can with you and elevate them as well, because that's what she did throughout her life, and it was short. So again, thank you so much for allowing me a little bit of time with you, and I hope you enjoy her book as much as I've enjoyed her book and how much she stays with me throughout my adult life.